one discipline. So this is already sitting in a very multidisciplinary school, but instead of just sitting in one bit of it, it's all very, if you look just at the directors of the centre, come from geography, from architecture and from planning. And already the group is reaching out to the rest of the school, to development studies and to education. So just in one school we have a very multidisciplinary spread of researchers. And I know conversations are already ongoing within the school with things like the Tyndall Centre and with other centres and institutes within the university. And in fact, I had a meeting today with Colin Hughes, the Associate Vice President for Sustainability, who's equally very excited about Cure2 because it sees it as a potential kind of platform within the humanities for links into things like energy at Manchester. So I think it's true to say in the past, research on energy within the school and within the faculty to some degree has been a little atomised, a little bit individualised. There's been significant projects, there's been significant elements of research groups focusing on energy and resilience. But to have a research group which is focused on that area is a very exciting development for the school and for the Faculty of Humanities, and I think for the university as well. So I'd like to take a moment to congratulate Stefan and his colleagues in getting this far, and I know he's very relieved, he said to me, to get this far, to have the speakers in the room, to have you all here. So it's an exciting event for us. I think it's also interesting to see from the point of view of the head of school, actually, in terms of centres. So often we have a debate about change that's needed in research groups, and change is often resisted within institutions, within universities as well. People find it quite hard to react to the changing environment out there. So the response is often to do something very different, which is to start something new. So we all have this conversation about why are we doing all these new things all the time? We've got so much we're doing already, but the impetus is always to develop that something new. And when Stefan arrived in Manchester just under a year ago now, we had early conversations about what he wanted to achieve. And he had this idea about developing this new grouping. But credit to Stefan, after starting the conversation with numerous colleagues around the ground, we saw this other opportunity of a group already well established with a great reputation, that is Cure. And Joe Ravetz is going to talk for a moment about Cure1, and to see the opportunity to develop it in something new, to relaunch it if you want, to create Cure2. So let's hear about that. Joe, perhaps we could start with you and just hear about Cure1 and then the development in Cure2. We'll hear from Stefan.
Thanks. Well, likewise, very pleased that you managed to make it here. And I was just thinking, well, it was 21 years ago that the Rio Summit happened, and that really set the tone for a lot of things that happened in the 1990s. And one of the things that happened in the 1990s was the concept of sustainability came to the forefront, became almost a household word. So a number of us thought, what is this mysterious thing, what this elephant called sustainability? Perhaps it's something to do with the interconnectedness of things, you know, the connection between the present and the future, between ecology and economy and society, between different parts of a large, complex city or city region, and so on. So it was this idea of the interconnectedness of things that led us to set up what was Cure1, the Centre for Urban and Regional Ecology, with John Handley, who sadly can't be here just yet. He may arrive just off the train from London at any moment. And the story of that is documented actually in this special issue of Town and Country Planning, which there are free copies available on the table out there if anyone wants it. And I can commend it, not because it's a great work of literature, but it does kind of try to spell out as best we can what was going on and why we thought things in this way and how we reached these conclusions, and then most importantly, what does the forward look like? What are the prospects for all this? So if Cure1 was about the interconnectedness of things, Cure2 might be said to be about the interconnectedness of thinking, to play with a word there. And actually somebody asked us in an interview the other week, Cure1, Cure2, so what went wrong with Cure1? I said, well, actually, nothing went wrong, but, these things have a life cycle, and there is always scope to rethink and reframe and reimagine and re-envision and so on. So this is what we're doing now in the shape of Cure2, and I just really look forward to working with all of you, really, on this. in a number of different fields, specialities, research themes, action research, policy research exchange, and so on and so forth. And particularly crossing between the sectors, between the academic sector, the public sector, business sector, civil society, in all of its variety, some of whom just walked in the door actually, so that's great, welcome. And to really make things happen which are creative and forward-looking. So with that, I'll hand over to Stefan.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you everyone for being here today. I will be very brief because I don't want to take much time from Harriet's fascinating talk, which I had the privilege of having a quick look at just earlier. I'm delighted that all of you are here today, and all I'm going to do is just say very briefly, I'll just say two things. First of all, a number of thank yous. Thank you to Simon in the first instance and the team of directors of the New Cure, Joe Ravetz, Andy Carbonen, Jeremy Carter and Saskia Petrova for all of the work that they put in actually getting us to this point where we actually have a program of activities already starting from January, a whole set of initiatives, a whole set of projects, ideas, and a really exciting agendas ahead. Also, I'd like to thank the whole assemblage of people who were involved in Cure 1, as it were, so the original Cure, people like John Handley in particular, Ian Douglas and so on, for their support in actually bringing us to this point. And a range of meetings were held where we actually helped us define an agenda that would drive us forward. There are also numerous stakeholders around the university and the city, people from AGMA, from the Low Carbon Hub, people from Tyndall, from across Kresk, Business School and so on, who also helped, again, through various conversations, helped us define this agenda. Also, I'd like to thank Harriet for coming here today and in many ways announcing the kind of agenda that we are starting to develop here. So in a way, Harriet is out there already, and all we're doing is actually just developing it further. So we're following in the footsteps in a way of something that's already a path that has been opened up by people like Harriet, by Gordon Walker and so on, principally in geography, but also in disciplines like planning, environmental studies, economics and so on. And it's an agenda that very much opens this question of transitions. And Frank Gills is somewhere in the audience, one of the preeminent authorities on transition. But of course, what we're doing here is we're taking that agenda further. So we're exploring the notion of transition within the energy context, but also linking it to questions of resilience, questioning resilience, thinking about the dimensions of resilience in society, in the environment, in ecology, and so on, and also particularly focusing on vulnerability, the distributional dimensions of resilience or of transitions, as it were. Who wins, who loses in these processes of social change that we're experiencing, particularly in the energy sector as we're moving towards a low-carbon future. What does it take? What sort of procedures need to be in place in order to ensure justice in these processes? And also, do we recognize the kinds of groups who are vulnerable? So lots of interesting agendas, ideas emerging here, lots of dynamic thinking, focusing on complexity, focusing on actually integrative thinking. So in a way, I just want to say one more thing. Cure is not a fixed thing, and it's not something that has a clear set of, a delimited set of ideas. I think we have a clear agenda, but that agenda is a fluid and mobile one, and we hope to actually build it together with you. So all of you that are in the room here, and on the multiples, Twitter and Facebook, and whatever things that we have been involved over the last 2 or 3 weeks trying to get this launched together. So just have that in mind. We very much look forward to working with you and everyone else who couldn't join us in developing and growing this agenda. So thank you once again. And on to Simon.
Thanks, Stefan. And I think you've already done a good introduction there to Harriet. So I just want to add a warm note of welcome to Harriet. Harriet's been an absolute key voice in this debate, a blaze of projects and publications for the last few years. So many of you will be familiar with Harriet's work. It's great to have you in Manchester. We have a great relationship, I think, between Manchester and Durham, and that collaboration is central, I think, to Cure 2 going forward. So please, Harriet.
Thanks, Simon.